Right, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Right, I'm going to refit the bag that I have on the back here, because I took the bag off when I last cleaned the bike, because I got at it a bit because it got a bit muddy, and which you'd have seen on a previous video, I think. But I thought how nice it looked actually without the bag on. It's just a matter of a bit of a change, isn't it, really? So I used the bike without the bag on. I'm making a right mess of this. Used it without the bag on for a bit, and then of course, sod's law, you know exactly what I'm going to say, is I could really have done with it on the one day, because I needed to put something on the bike. Always the way, isn't it? But it fits just like that. A lot of people have asked me about this bag actually. Probably had as many questions about this bag as I have the bike. But there you go. I needed to and the reason is I need to put this in, which is the lock. If you watch the video where we had the medical incident and I had to secure a bike, one of my mates lent me that lock so I could lock up the bike, Steve's bike, before I left it there. But luckily I managed to be able to get back up and grab the bike within a couple of hours, so that was good. But I've got that lock, and it's a bit difficult to put in your pocket, that. So that bag is perfect for a little thing like that. Perfect for those little bits and bobs. Okay, enough chatter, let's get out on the road. I'll see you a bit down the road. A fine morning this morning, and it's my day off today. So, oh dear, look at that sun. God, can't see a thing. Yeah, it's my day off today. And it's a fine day. Those two things don't usually coincide. So make the most of it. Cool. It's still very damp underfoot, and there's a lot of leaves and everything on the road, so you've got to be a bit careful around these lanes. Oh, and I've come this way without really thinking about it. I was possibly going to go the other way. Never mind. We'll carry on. Yes, hopefully you've seen the other video. By the time I'm recording this one, you'll have seen the other video I popped up a few days ago, which was just a bit of a daft one really, on the way back from the cafe, and talking about washing bikes, that was it. And that brush, incidentally, I don't really believe that brush is a revolution in bike cleaning. It's just I think it's quite useful. It's a useful little tool. But on that point, I have got another item that's coming. It's being delivered any day now, which is to do with bike cleaning as well. And I'm going to do a first for me. It's like an opening. I'm going to open it up, and we're going to test it out, because it might be a thing that many people don't possess. But I've always been intrigued by them, whether they're worth it, and I thought, oh, what the heck, I'm going to try it. So I'll be doing that in a few days. I won't spoil it as to what it is, but I'll be doing a box opening, and as usual I've managed to source the cheapest version possible, because I am very cheap, if nothing else. So I've gone for an economy version, which I'm hoping will prove to be just as good as the more expensive version. That's the plan. We'll see. It might be that I bought a load of old crap. It's highly possible too, but we'll see. Anyway, so that'll be coming up next, that video, as soon as this item arrives. But I'm hoping it's going to be really good. I've looked at all the technical spec, and I can't really see that there's any difference between it and a more expensive version, so I'll have a look. It looks identical to me. So that might be of interest, so look out for that one. Yeah, and as I was mentioning in that previous video with the brush in it, I have to call it the wash brush vid, I've got this decision to make about what I'm going to do this winter, whether I'm going to use the CL through the winter. Now obviously I realise people will say, well, it's a perfect bike for the winter, and it is. I completely agree with that. It's got simple paint finishes, it hasn't got a lot of chrome on it, it's called a scrambler, it's supposed to be able to deal with minor off-road, let alone wet roads and such like. But my big thing with it is that it is a brand new bike to me. That's the difference. And I do like to keep my bikes immaculate. I've always had immaculate bikes, and it's just whether I want to use this bike, which yet is ideal for the winter, whether I actually want to use it through the winter, due to the fact that it is brand spanking new, and it would be the first time I would have ever used a brand new bike through the winter. Not that I've had very many, but even a near to new bike, if I've ridden in the winter, I've always had a sort of an old hack type of bike. But finding one of those at a reasonable price at the moment is difficult, to be honest. So at the moment I'm still using the CL, and I'm just keeping on top of it, keeping it clean, and it hasn't suffered at all yet. But I certainly can't sell it now as one of those bikes that have never seen a wet road. I don't think I'd get away with that anymore. But I can honestly say it's never seen a salty road, and that is the critical factor, isn't it? Once grit and salt starts getting sprayed around the roads, which won't be long now, we're well into November, middle of November. I don't know the date actually, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we're towards the end of November. It won't be long before we get the gritters and the salt, the rock salt, thrown all over the roads, and that is sort of a point where you have to make a decision. Are you going to let your bike suffer with that? Because it's so hard to really keep that off the bike. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, is this one of these guys that brakes every time he comes to a corner? Could be. Really find that really off-putting. I was following a chap home from work a few nights ago, and the road I go along, it's empty at the time of night that I come home. I come home at 10 o'clock at night, completely empty, nothing going on. It's cold, everybody's tucked in the houses. But the road I go along has got speed bumps along it, and every time this car came to a speed bump, the brakes flashed. Instead of just letting his foot off the accelerator a little bit and allowing the engine braking to slow the vehicle down for the speed bump, the brakes came on, and I just thought, everyone, and he was doing about basically 20 miles an hour along a road that really is a 30 to 40 mile an hour road. There you go. We're all different. We're all different. Oh, he's got a tractor tucked away in that garage there, I've just noticed. An old vintage tractor. Oh, he's braking for this corner here. I mean, seriously, it's a wide open road. I've got to get past this guy, he's making me nervous. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's not the speedy drivers that sometimes make you nervous, it's the very, very slow ones, because you just don't know what they're going to react to next. If they're nervous about a high-speed corner and they're doing 35 and they need to put their brakes on, you think, well, what's going to happen if they see a squirrel or whatever? Are they suddenly going to slam the anchors on? This is becoming a bit of an issue here with the road, as you can see there. I don't know what they're building there actually. It looks like that field may be ending up being a housing estate or something. It's possible, I don't know. By the way, that place there, Bower Grange Residential Care Home. Now, I've got a story about that place which you will not believe. When I did the video, when was it? Anyway, a couple of videos ago, somebody commented and said, I really enjoy you just rambling on. There's nothing better than hear an old guy on a motorbike rambling on about stories and things, which is I tend to enjoy that as well, actually. Just random stories. And I've got some stories, and I thought, shall I do some stories, not necessarily about motorcycles, but just things of my past, because I mean, I think I have had quite an interesting life history. Well, it's certainly been up and down, and there is a story relating to that property there. I think, was it Bower Grange? We just came past it, I can't remember. Bower Grange. And in the old days, it wasn't called Bower Grange. It was a pub originally, because it's now a residential nursing home. And it was called the Nautical William, and I've got a story about that. I've teased it now, haven't I? I didn't plan on telling it now because I haven't got it straight in my head yet. It is from a few years ago. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll tell the story. I'll do it now. So many years ago, I used to be, yeah, you won't believe this, well, you probably will, I used to be a DJ. I DJ'd both sort of on the building there as well. I DJ'd, oh, here we go, here's the traffic lights. Yeah, I DJ'd both on a mobile basis and in clubs and what have you around the area, and venues. Yes, and one night I actually had a residency at that place at one time when it was called the Nautical William, because it had closed down as a pub and had been reopened as a sort of a nightclub spot, where they had not just a disco type nightclub, but more a live entertainment venue. They had bands on and all sorts of other things like that. And I had a sort of residency there, along with an agent friend of mine who I knew. And one of the residencies, one of the nights, was called, I think it was once a month we did it, or was it once a week? I think it was once a month. It was a ladies' night. Now, to those of you who don't know what a ladies' night is, a ladies' night basically is male strippers. Let's put it down to that. You get the picture. It's that sort of evening. Very classy, of course. But yeah, and my job was to DJ at the end of that, because the girls like to have a dance at the end, of course. I've had a few drinks and the gentlemen have done their thing. So I used to do that, and I used to control the music, and we had a lot of lighting, and I had a big follow spot which used to follow around the performers. Let's put it like that. Now on this particular night, because these lads used to work in groups, they had 5 or 6, because obviously you can only go out there and take your clothes off once really, and it doesn't take that long. So there's 5 or 6 different lads. They always used to work together in like a troupe, if you want to call it that. And they used to have sort of characters that they used to portray. Obviously, you know, the traditional one is a sort of fireman, isn't it? You know, the naughty fireman that's going to come and save you, that type of thing. Oh, thinking back now, what was I doing? But anyway, yeah. But they were always looking for, of course, a new sort of character to portray. Obviously, the firemen used to take their clothes off, and underneath it was just leather straps and God knows what, you know, the normal sort of thing. But anyway, one of them had come up with a really good idea, which had worked, apparently was really popular and had worked well. And he was a vampire. Yeah, blood-sucking vampire, which of course gave him lots of excuses to come and kiss the necks of the ladies and all the rest of it. I won't go any further. But in order to make this very dramatic, what they'd done is he actually had a coffin. Now, this is true. You won't believe this. It is true. He had a coffin, and 4 of the other lads, dressed in sort of suits and what have you, looking all smart, carried this coffin out, and dramatically, you know, with all the music and smoke, I had dry ice and all that sort of thing going on, dramatically brought the coffin out and stood it on a stand so that it was not upright, just a bit laid back, so that you could look into the coffin. But it was, of course, the lid was on it, and then what was supposed to happen was the lid, the music would go up. It was probably Thriller by Michael Jackson, I expect. The lid would slowly open. You can imagine, you can visualise now the opening to the Thriller tune, and the vampire wrapped in his cloak would come out, and then all lots of fun would commence. But to spark and make it a little bit more lively, they had pyrotechnics, which I owned as well, actually, which is like an explosive device, and it goes bang, and a huge puff of smoke, and then yeah, it's very dramatic, and I used to use it quite a lot when I was in the entertainment business, because I did a lot of shows and that, as well as DJing. So the idea was, the lid slowly opened, then there was a bang, a smoke, and Dracula would come out from behind the smoke, and that was the start of the whole act. And it was a brilliant idea. Yeah, well, this night it went wrong. It really did go badly wrong, because what happened, as they were carrying the guy out in the coffin, the pyrotechnics unit, which was a little square box which had a pellet in it of pyrotechnics, had obviously slipped from its position. It was actually fixed to the lid of the box. Now, I had nothing to do with this. This was the strippers themselves that had organised all this, I hasten to add. And it had slipped, and it had fallen into the bottom of the coffin. So if you can imagine, it was between the guy's legs, facing upwards. Of course, nobody knew. Somebody pushed the button. Let's just say that he came out in a certain amount of pain. And yeah, seriously, he came out, and of course everybody in the audience thought it was part of the act. They were laughing their head off, but he was literally in agony, and he had burned the inside of the top of his legs and other parts quite badly. Not bad enough for hospital treatment, I don't think, but quite singed, shall we say. Yeah, and that was the story of my yeah, and that happened right back there. And of course, they had to hurriedly get another guy out on stage, and so yeah, I was around when a vampire got his what's-its chopped off, blown off. Now you can vote on that. Is that a true story, or have I made it up? Is that true, or have I just made it up? So I know what some of you are thinking, he's made that up. Anyway, I'm at the cafe, I can't go on about this. I'll finish the story off maybe another time, but I'm here now. Thanks for being with me. I hope you've enjoyed that story. I can tell you, actually, while I'm waiting here just across, it is completely true, word for word, honestly, completely true. That is exactly how it happened, no exaggeration. So anyway, I'm here now, I've got to stop. Thanks so much for being with me again, and I will see you next time. Bye.